EU chief negotiator Michel Barnier will start the week in London, meeting with Brexit Secretary David Davis. It kicks off discussions on a transition period and how to enforce the divorce treaty, while ensuring there's no hard border with Ireland. The UK will also set out its ideas for security and customs arrangements. Several Conservative Party lawmakers took to the airwaves to show their support for Theresa May, who remains under pressure from Brexit hardliners who fear she's diluting her plans for a clean break with the EU. In a BBC interview, Interior Minister Amber Rudd said Britain will not surrender in its fight to win a bespoke deal that would offer tariff-free trade as well as control over immigration. She also tried to play down the deep divisions in government, saying there was more unity than so-called Brexiteers thought. February will also see Theresa May giving details on what kind of free trade agreement Britain wants, and she'll need to make her mind up quickly, as if she takes longer, the proposals won't make it in time for the March EU summit, and the already tight timetable could slip.
Another night of Russian air raids across Syria's northern Idlib province. On Sunday, rescue workers in the town of Kafr Nubal rushed to put out fires and dig through rubble in the search for survivors. In the provincial capital, Idlib city, one witness said a 5-story building was leveled and at least 15 people were feared dead. Several other deaths and dozens of injuries have been reported across the province. In the city of Marat al-Numan, civil defense workers rushed babies and other patients out of a damaged hospital. In December, the Syrian army, backed by Iranian militia and Russian air power, launched a major offensive to retake Idlib. It's Syria's last and most densely populated province, still mainly under opposition control. Russian jets have intensified their strikes on Idlib after Syrian militia shot down a Russian warplane on Saturday and killed its pilot. Russia says it is targeting Islamist militants, not civilians.
Images have emerged of Saturday's drive-by shooting spree in the Italian town of Macerata, in which the assailant targeted immigrants. 6 people were wounded, at least one of them is in a serious condition. The suspect, named as Luca Traini, who has a neo-Nazi symbol tattooed above his eyebrow, has been arrested. The 28-year-old, who was described by a local magistrate as lucid and determined, is said to have exhibited no remorse for his actions. Police investigating him on multiple counts of attempted murder with the aggravating circumstance of racial hatred found a copy of Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler in his room where he lives. Leftist politicians are blaming the far-right League Party for stirring up racist fervour. Traini stood as a candidate for the party in a local ballot last year.
The US decision to expand its nuclear capacity has been slammed by China, which has urged Washington to drop its Cold War mentality. China says it firmly opposes the Pentagon's review of nuclear policy. The Defense Ministry in Beijing said the US had played up the threat of China's nuclear threat, adding its own policy was defensive in nature. The US is concerned about its nuclear arsenal becoming obsolete and no longer an effective deterrent, and names China, Russia, North Korea and Iran as potential threats. Iran says the move is in violation of the International Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and claims it has brought the world closer to annihilation. Russia was also quick to react, accusing the US of warmongering.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel's Conservatives and Martin Schulz's Social Democrats have failed to conclude coalition negotiations in time to meet a self-imposed Sunday deadline. Both leaders did, however, say progress had been made and talks will continue later today. According to various working groups within the talks, the main sticking points appear to be over healthcare and a labour policy. More than 4 months after a national election, Europe's largest economy and major power broker is in political paralysis, causing concern among investors and EU partners. The SPD are hoping to renew their grand coalition with Merkel's Christian Democrats, which has governed Germany since 2013.
It's been Turkey's deadliest day since it launched an offensive against Kurdish militias inside northern Syria over 2 weeks ago. 5 soldiers died when a Turkish tank was hit by YPG militia, while 2 soldiers were killed elsewhere. Violence has escalated in northern Syria in recent days as Turkish forces target the city of Afrin and threaten to push further east towards the border with Iraq. Dozens of rockets have hit the Turkish border towns of Rehanli and Kilis, where a refugee camp is home to thousands of Syrians. There was heavy bombardment in Syria. Our homes and cars were destroyed. We escaped to Turkey, and now they're bombing here. We'll stay here until it's safe to return. The bombings have also targeted people's houses and public utilities in nearby villages. This is our land and we belong to it. Even if we have to live in a basement or on the street, we're not leaving. It's impossible to leave Afrin. Impossible. Meanwhile, in Paris, thousands of protesters march to support Turkey's Kurds and protest the Turkish military incursion into Afrin. The demonstrators urge French and other Western authorities to take a tougher stand against Turkey.
The heir to Samsung Group, Lee Jae-young, has been freed from prison. Seoul High Court jailed Lee for 2.5 years, reducing the original term by half and suspended the sentence for charges including bribery and embezzlement, meaning he doesn't have to serve time. Lee had been detained since last February. Prosecutors are expected to appeal the ruling in the Supreme Court. The scandal led to the downfall of South Korea's ex-president and exposed the nefarious links between political leaders and big family-owned corporations. Former President Park, who denies wrongdoing, is standing trial accused of bribery, abuse of power and coercion.
Televidentes que nos llegan a final de Notisia Internacional. Nós também para corte publicitário e agora nós também é deporte com o colega Carl Reuter. Siga conosco.